Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Trix. Today we're going to be doing another Rust Rogue video. Sorry for the late-ish stream. I was faffing with the laptop again. Basically, if you guys don't know, I'm using my laptop to connect it to two monitors through a display link dongle. Most of the time, when you're using like a laptop or something, you'll be able to just like plug in a USB-C dongle that has like two HDMI ports and you can just plug that in, right? That's if your laptop supports Thunderbolt. The laptop I have, even though it has a USB-C port on it, doesn't support Thunderbolt, so it can't do a GPU pass-through through the USB-C connector. I have to pass through my GPU from I have to pass through my GPU through the USB port to HDMI cables, which if you guys know the difference between USB-C and USB, you know that's doing a shit ton of compression. So like I can see on my screen right now that the actual mouse is like flickering. I'm guessing because it's trying to it's compressing a lot of information that's being outputted to the screen. And like sometimes when I turn on my laptop, it like it has like black boxes in certain places where like, oh, the pixels just haven't turned on because it's trying to render but isn't able to render correctly. But yeah, the issue I was having this morning was, earlier today, was that the new Linux kernel doesn't support. No, not the new Linux kernel doesn't support it, but the display link drivers haven't been updated to accommodate the new Linux kernel, which is very common for like most kernel drivers, right? Because until that system until you are made aware that the new kernel is being used by people with your software, you don't even know that you need to update it. So last week I done an update after the stream. So every Sunday I do an update after I've done streaming, where while I'm just doing other stuff on my laptop like online courses or like just browsing the internet like you do, right? Like maybe reading online articles, maybe browsing Mastodon or Twitter or whatever. So have the update going on in the background, and then I turn my laptop off. Turned it on this morning. Earlier. I keep saying this morning, but I mean earlier. Turned it on earlier, and it was booting correctly, but wasn't able to start the display link driver. When I was checking in system CTL, it was saying that it was loaded by the kernel, but wasn't able to start. So I'm assuming there's just something new in the kernel that's stopping it from starting, or there's like a runtime process that isn't being executed that was being executed on the old kernel that isn't being checked anymore with the new kernel. So yeah, I to fix this, I use Snapper, and some people might not know what Snapper is, but Snapper is a really cool tool that basically, if you are running a system and you're using BTRFS, I call it ButterFS. I will continue to call it ButterFS because I think it's funny. But if you're running ButterFS on a system, every time you do a package update, package upgrade, or whatever, you'll take a snapshot of your currently installed packages and your current like and like the information for your current kernel, and then when you update, it'll keep a snapshot of it, so that if anything were to go wrong, you could roll back to that previous snapshot. And it does it before an update and after an update. So if before an update everything's fine, you can roll back to that. If before an update things are happening weirdly, and then after an update things are okay, you can just roll back to that okay post update, right? So what I did was I thought, oh, maybe if I roll back an update, I'll be running on the previous kernel version, maybe. So if I run Alacrity, and I do a uname-a, I think, or uname-o, I can't remember which one it is. Uname-a. So I'm currently running 6.1 of the Linux kernel, and the one that's the most up-to-date version I think is 6.2. So there's something different between 6.1 and 6.2 that's causing display link to have issues. So I just thought, okay, cool, I'll just roll back one, see if it works. It's working. I now have display output to my monitors. Still have the weird glitching with my mouse not refreshing correctly on my monitors. It might be because I might be running my monitors in two different refresh rates. Actually, I never thought about that. Ooh, okay. Nah. If you you guys can't see what I'm doing right now, I am playing with the refresh rate on my monitor a little to see if it changes anything. From what I can tell, it doesn't. I think it might be that these two are running in different refresh rates, but I haven't noticed this issue when I was on the work machine that I'm using. But it might just be that that's handling the refresh rates a lot better than my current Linux setup is, because like this Linux setup is kind of weird, all things considered. Like I'm running two monitors. I'm not using a display. I'm not using a this desktop environment. I'm just using a window manager on two monitors, and this window manager config that I'm using is supposed to be for Arch or Nix, and I've hacked away at it to get it working on Tumbleweed on a older package version. Like I was talking to the maintainer of the config that I'm using, and he was like, he didn't even know it would run on this version, and I was like, well, sick. Well, it's running like half okay, half not, but I'm still using it daily. Like one of the issues that you can see right now is this 3 like panel where it's only supposed to be one, obviously, but if I move to a different desktop environment, and not desktop environment, virtual desktop, then it will move with it, but it's only supposed to render once, and then like some of these icons are appearing on this side, but on the other side it's not appearing, or like some of them, yeah, it's just weird. I'm thinking of maybe when I get a new machine of switching to XFC or LXD. I don't want to go with KDE again, just because with KDE, my only issue with KDE, and it's to this day, is it has so much shit in there. Like, fair enough, the things that you can see on KDE are pretty. The things you can use on KDE are pretty good, obviously. Where when you're using KDE, everything's like baked into it because it's a desktop environment. Same thing with GNOME. But my problem with KDE specifically is the way KDE works, like the packages that it ships. If you try using those packages outside of KDE, it just acts kind of funny. Like one good example. I installed Tumbleweed with KDE, right? Because I'm using a different desktop environment. When I load into Awesome WM, which is my window manager that I'm using, the Wi-Fi applet doesn't start correctly because for some reason it's tied to the runtime processes that KDE starts up when KDE is booted into that desktop environment, right? So I thought, okay, cool, let me try installing a different keychain to handle like the passwords that I would use when connecting to Wi-Fi. That works fine, but now what happens is Wi-Fi will connect automatically, but unless I specifically start nmapplet, it just doesn't work, because in KDE nmapplet nmapplet only holds, what's it called? It holds ownership of your network connection, I think, or the startup process for the network connection. But if I use nmapplet, which is for GNOME, just a normal bog standard GNOME one, works fine. So my key takeaway from this is if you use KDE, then stay with KDE and don't try another desktop environment just because the things that that are pre-installed with KDE, if you have it pre-installed already, when you when you install your system, everything will be tailored for KDE, and when you switch to other desktop environments, things will just be a bit broken. But if you install GNOME first and then install KDE, you'll probably be fine. It'll still install all the packages that KDE needs, but when you switch to another desktop environment or try to use another desktop environment, works completely fine. Obviously, that being said, I might have done something wrong. Most likely I have done something wrong because I have to start an nmapplet every time I boot into my machine, like log out, log in, because Wi-Fi just won't start that otherwise. And I tried putting that into the startup script for Awesome, but for some reason it needs to run as sudo to start an nmapplet, which is funky, but I just grew to okay, cool, if I'm gonna boot into Awesome, I might as well just I just now remember, okay, cool, I need to start an nmapplet every time I log in. That I've been doing it for so long that it's just muscle memory now. And same thing with dynamically detecting monitors. I always have to disable the monitor on my laptop and then orientate my monitors, because for some reason when Awesome loads it in, it loads it as laptop is 1, my monitor on my right is 2, and this monitor is 3, when I like having this monitor as primary, this monitor as secondary, and my laptop screen is completely off because I don't even look at it when it's in clamshell mode. But yeah, just little hiccups. I know this will all be solved if I just get a tower and plug in my HDMI cables in the back, and then just when I install Tumbleweed again, just install GNOME straight off the back, or let me check. I need to check which desktop environment. Oh no, I could. Yeah, Hyperlink should work on. Hang on, Hyperlink. Oh, but Hyperlink doesn't come pre-installed with Tumbleweed. Interesting. Rex OS desktop PC. Oh, I'll be willing to switch to Hyperlink. I've tried Hyperlink. Yeah. As I was saying, I've tried Hyperlink before, where it works fine. It's just it doesn't like that I'm running an NVIDIA GPU, which is very fair. I don't like that I'm running an NVIDIA GPU, which is why when I get a tower, it's going to be like an AMD tower. But if I do get a tower, I will install OpenSUSE Tumbleweed again, just because. Bit of backstory: I've used Linux for quite a bit. I used it. I used it when I was in. I started using it when I was in secondary school. No, I want to say sixth form, where I played around with Kali Linux because I thought I, I'm not gonna be, and I'm not gonna like dance around it. I thought, oh yeah, hacking's cool, and I was like, okay, let's install Kali Linux. Biggest mistake. Please do not do that. um, Kali Linux isn't supposed to be run as like a daily distribution, and I thought, oh yeah, I could just run it as a daily distribution. No, no. Um, then then I ran Manjaro for a bit. After I was like, yeah, I can't daily Kali. I tried running Manjaro for a bit, where I got used to like Pac-Man and AUR. And then what was the next distribution I've done? I've done Ubuntu at university and Debian and Parrot OS and Kali Linux again. I've also done the Ubuntu server. No, but Ubuntu server I'm not going to count. I've also done Debian. It was, I think, Debian Buster, so Debian 9. But wait, which one is Bullseye and which one's Buster? I think Debian Buster is 9. And Debian Bullseye is 10. Debian Buster is 10. Debian Bullseye must be 11 then. So I've done Debian Buster at university as well. In terms of like server I've also done. I'm just gonna wrap off all of the operating systems for now. Obviously touched Windows. I touched Mac because I'm working with it. What else? I've run ESXi, OpenStack, Proxmox. I'm not gonna count OpenWRT because that's not really a distribution that you could like do anything. I said Proxmox, but on Proxmox you can run, but OpenWRT you could. No, I'm not going to count OpenWRT. I'm debating between if I should even count Proxmox and ESXi, because technically they're not distributions that you can like daily, but you can install virtual machines on them and remote into them to use them as daily machines. So, and TrueNAS, which is currently running on my server, which is turned off right now because of the energy crisis in the UK. So that's off for the foreseeable future until I can either get a machine that I can like keep on all the time. That's not a Raspberry Pi, because a Raspberry Pi doesn't really have fault redundant. Sorry, I'm still dying from my cough. It's not really fault tolerant when it comes to storage. You can like daisy chain some hard drives and have it run off an SSD, but I don't know. I don't like running stuff that's like mission critical on a Raspberry Pi. Proper like PC, fine, because that's what my old machine is doing. I just have like an old OEM HP PC. No, not even HP, Acer PC, just underneath my TV, chilling there, running a server. So it's not very energy efficient, which is why I'm not got it on right now. But I am thinking of maybe buying a TrueNAS box and putting that there, or buying like a low power server and just chucking that there. But a low power server is quite loud, and I don't want something that's like loud. Anyway, going back to distributions that I've run, I basically run everything except for Fedora, and I've never run mainline Arch before. I have run Endeavour in a VM, but mainline Arch I just couldn't be asked. I've also never run Gentoo because I do not have time to compile and build every single application I want to run every time I want to run it. But I run Tumbleweed, and I don't know, I like Tumbleweed a lot more just because Tumbleweed has a lot of things that are just nice to use. It has a lot of nice to haves, kind of like Fedora. The only reason I don't use Fedora is because the servers for OpenSUSE are a little bit closer to Technically they will use a CDN, right? So every time you download the package is going to be as fast as possible to get to you. Mainly, I just like the distribution in general. I like the package manager. Downloads take aren't that slow. I don't know, lots of things are just very nice on Tumbleweed. And like my only gripe with Fedora is it technically, lots of people don't call it a stable distribution. I think Fedora is basically a stable distribution, not with not with how the packages are maintained, but with the release cycles. So to explain that, with rolling release distributions, they are rolling because you don't have to do a major update to get to the latest version of that operating system, right? So with Tumbleweed, every time I do an update, just a normal package update, it updates the entire operating system at the same time. With Ubuntu and most stable distributions, the recommended way to do a point release update, so like from 22.04 to another LTS, is to just reinstall your operating system. If you've installed your operating system correctly, I put correctly in parentheses because this is how I would recommend it, and it's only possible if you have 2 hard drives, is you put your user files on your second hard drive and you just have your boot and root files on your other hard drive. So when you do an update, it only touches the hard drive with like boot and root files while your user files are untouched. Which is a lot nicer, just because if you do need to do an update and an update goes wrong, you can just swap out the hard drive with your boot on it and just boot into a new system, right? And you'll still have all of your user files safe sound. Packages get a little funky with it, but it's the way I recommend doing it. Sorry, I still got my cough. But yeah, I don't like Fedora just because of that. I think in my opinion, I like how they handle packages, and I like RPMs and how they do package distribution. I like their new package manager instead of their old package manager. They're using DNF right now instead of using Yum, which is a lot better. I do not like Yum and how it just like, when you do an update, what it should be doing is be grabbing a delta of the changes that are in that package update, right? Instead of you're grabbing the whole update. From what I remember, Yum would just grab everything. It wouldn't even grab a delta, it would just grab the whole package and reinstall it from scratch, which is very slow. I know some people do complain that with Snapper it is quite slow if you don't enable multi-threading. I mean, parallel downloads, but you can enable that in settings. It's just not. Again, it's just comes down to documentation, right? Like documentation for Tumbleweed, it's a bit all over the place. So if you don't know where to look, you won't know. Like the first thing I did when I was installing Tumbleweed was I was just reading the documentation while installing it, which is why I know about like Snapper and like Prime Select, BB Switch, random packages, honestly, which like you'll only know about if you've read the documentation and you need to use them. You don't need to read the documentation to know about them, but if you need to use them, you'll definitely know them. Anyway, what else was I gonna say before we start coding? Hang on. Oh yeah. I have my old phone chilling in the back corner of my room, in its box, obviously. But if anybody wants to see like a tutorial where I go through like installing a custom ROM, anything Android related, leave a comment. I'm up to it, as I now have a backup phone that I can just do testing with. I was going to use it as my secondary phone, but then I realized carrying 2 phones is hard. carrying two phones and like managing two phones is hard. Like, oh, I'm already clumsy, so I know if I had two phones, I would eventually leave one somewhere and be like, where is this phone? So I just moved everything to my new phone. And the only thing that like, I did want to bring this up. If you do install custom ROMs, only install a custom ROM if the application you're using, the applications you use are not heavily dependent on safety net. I know lots of people will say like mixed things on this topic, but my advice is if it has any type of dependency on safety net, look into what it really depends on. Like WhatsApp does depend on safety net, but it will still let you run it. I know some apps are dependent on the safety net, but will still let you run, like WhatsApp. Some of them are dependent on the layer 1 of safety net, which is just I've forgotten which one it is. One of them is just like a software verification, and the other one is like a bootloader verification to see if your device has been tampered with, i.e. have you installed a custom ROM. So if it's only layer 1, I'd say give it a go, see if it works fine. If not, well, fair enough. If it's layer 2 and it needs to know that the bootloader hasn't been touched and that you're not running a custom ROM, that's like mainly some banking apps, PayPal, definitely, what other banking app? Book Orca, if you use it. Found that out the other day. That was bloody harsh. I couldn't even read in light novels. What else wasn't working? Book Orca, Google Pay, there we go. So NFC with Google Pay wouldn't work. But if you don't, just check. Basically, just check what apps you want to run and if they will run well. There's lots of websites that will tell you like software compatibility on de-Googled phones. One of them that I'm thinking of right now is by TechLaw, and it's called Plexus. But there are some GitHub web pages, some Excel spreadsheets that you can just find online that will tell you about what software is supported. I'm wondering if I had my starting soon page up or if I had my stream ended page up. I think I had starting soon. We're just going to go with I had starting soon up and not stream ended. That would have been funny. But yeah, just check that before you even decide to flash a custom ROM, and then afterwards just check that once you're like, oh yeah, I want to flash a custom ROM because the apps that I'm using are fine. See if that custom ROM does support GPS. Not GPS as in location. I mean GPS as in Google Play Services. If it does support like Sandbox Google Play Services, kind of like Graphene, or MicroG like Lineage, or Gaps like Lineage. I could have said Calyx for MicroG. Or if you just don't want it entirely, like Divest OS, or just like bog standard Lineage, Calyx, Graphene, solid OSs. But if the applications you want to run are dependent on safety net and need a verified boot to run, just get a new phone. It's unfortunate, but from my experience, that's the only like. There are some things you could probably do, like rooting your phone and some other stuff, but there are some privacy concerns with rooting your phone and leaving your bootloader unlocked. So I don't really recommend it. And then updates become a pain. So yeah, if your device doesn't, if the apps you run don't check verified boot and can pass safety net, go for it. If it can't pass safety net and it needs verified boot, then buy a new phone. Anyway, let's get into coding. CD into Rust Rogue. Okay, so Rex Paint. Provide a lovely tool for code page 437 image called editing called Rex Paint. RLTK has a button support for using it on purpose to use to see PC's Orchid Show. Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. That's a throwback. I cheated it a bit, found the CCO image, resized it to 80 by 50, and used a tool I wrote years ago to convert the PNG to a Rex Paint file. Still, I like the result. You can find the Rex Paint file in the resources folder. And that's sick. Let's do some coding then. Just gonna move this in a bit. Being a bit funky right now. Anyway, if I see the... No, I'm gonna get pull. Sorry guys. Just give me a sec. It's just a lozenge. Oh. Okay, that was my phone. I'm just going to put that there. Certified VI. Ah, no. So that's the RS. There we are. Oh no. Is that not control? Control C. Okay, there we go. Oh, let me just go to him. Hello. SRC. Need that resources. Resources. Do I got it? It is small dungeon. Nah, I don't. Download. I'm just gonna chuck it in this folder. If it asks, there we go. There we go. And then if I go in, if I just go back a bit. This is GUI. There we are. Oh. I do not recommend Jackman's. Oh. Jesus. Oh. Because it has it in chapters while I'm just having it as SRC and then whatever. There we are. I was about to build again. There we go. Nice. If I find, I think that's going to be in GUI. There we are. Come on. Cool. There we are. Cool. I'm just gonna grab this code. I know it doesn't change everything. Just can't be asked to figure out where that goes. Cool. Chapter 22, which is simple traps. I was about to do dash Ashin origin and then chapter dash 21, and I realized I already have auto upstream name set. Nice. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your day, and peace. I won't be catching feelings.